And the reason it's called St. Anne's is it's Anne, the mother of Mary, the mother of Jesus. But it was also a place that early on, when there started to be pilgrims, and I think the first pilgrim was Helena, and then Constantine's mom, right? So she was the one that, as far as history goes, came and started being very interested in finding the places. So it started basically, if someone's coming to Jerusalem and saying, well, where did this happen? Or, so when he came in on the donkey and the palm thing, where was that? So then legends, like word of mouth legends, stay. And so if you're in that neighborhood might be famous for certain stories, and certain stories are told in the neighborhoods. And I think there's some reliability to that. But then, things can also be changed, by myth and by whatever people make up. But in any case, that this is one of the very early places that there were churches here early, and there was pilgrimage to the place where Mary was born. So Mary was born in this neighborhood. So she was. That's my understanding, and maybe if somebody's a better scholar than I am, you might say, no, she was born, and it's like, okay. But that's my understanding. So Mary was born here, and then Anne, her mother, this was her, this neighborhood. So it was venerated for that. It was also a place that several of the miracles took place, because these pools were places that the sick would come to bathe, so these were considered healing waters. So there were people that would come here for the healing part of it. I don't know that much about the mikvah part of it, but that part plus the drinking water. So I think it was probably a good neighborhood when you have good water. That's my idea. Close to the temple. So people came here for this, and it's also famous because the lame man that was lame for like 30 years, he was here. And part of it, my understanding is that if you were lame, you weren't allowed into the temple because you were considered cursed, like God's saying that's a bad person, like lepers, etc. So it's a place of miracles, particularly the healing kind that are talked about, I think, mostly in Luke. And so in terms of Pad 4, our scriptures, this is where we would often come, and including the first year we went here as entering the Lion's Gate. Lion's Gate is also a place that's famous because they consider Stephen was the first person who was martyred of the followers of Jesus after Jesus. So he was stoned just outside this gate, just right out here. And then as far as Pad 4, we would park the buses outside, get off, go through the Lion's Gate, and this is kind of our first stop. And so if you listen to the Pad 4 tapes, this is where we sing Hallelujah. We were fresh from having been to Assisi with Father Max, and he's the one that taught us how to sing Hallelujah. But maybe we could go inside and have a moment. We have a few minutes if you want to do a little Hallelujah chorus. All right. So.
And the bar is pretty high for those Hallelujahs.
Yeah,
boy, it sure is.
We'll get a 2014 version or something like that.